Hey, thanks for being here. Episode 38. Life is like a box of chocolates or biscuits. You get to choose. Or do you? Here's the thing. I'm thinking we've all done this at some point in our life. Unless it's only me. I hope not. Now imagine this. But for you, I was standing in front of a box of chocolates in a shop that's too bright for the mood I was in. The kind of lighting that makes everything look a little too hopeful. If you don't eat chocolate, think of an assortment of biscuits instead. You get the idea. Now back to it. I wasn't even craving chocolate, actually. I reckon on reflection, I was craving certainty. I remember staring at the box like it had answers inside it. Like if I chose the right one, the rest of the week would make sense. And I picked one at random. Then home I went. My warm peppermint tea in hand, and I'm relaxed on the sofa. The ritual begins, the opening ceremony for the box of delights. Slow and controlled, calm exterior, sheer excitement inside. A tiny bite? And suddenly my mouth was full of sticky toffee. Underwhelmed, to be honest. But not bad either. Not amazing. Just surprising. And I laughed a little because honestly, that's life. Hey, welcome back to Pivot Era Podcast. Today, we're sitting with this old line. Life is like a box of chocolates or biscuits. Whatever floats your boat. But I get my inspiration from the classic Tom Hanks film, Forrest Gump. You guessed that, right? It's simple. Maybe too simple. But when you're in a season of change, a career pivot, a weird identity shift, or a quiet I don't know what I'm gonna do, that metaphor starts to feel less cheesy and more real. Because you really don't know what you're going to get. And that's scary, but also kind of human. I think a lot of us, especially in Gen Z, work culture, and mid-career folks, are living with this pressure to choose perfectly. Timelines come into play, or do they? To pick the right role, the right path, the right version of ourselves. We're taught to research everything, to plan 5 steps ahead, to optimize our lives like we're building a perfect playlist. And then life hands you an unlabeled chocolate and says, here, just try. No life job description. No guarantee. No little warning label that says, this one might taste like stress. Just, experience it. And if you're someone who struggles with imposter syndrome or anxiety, this can feel brutal. Not always, but it can be anything from mild, quiet, or loud. But always annoying. You can count on that without a doubt. Because uncertainty doesn't just feel like uncertainty. It feels like proof. Proof that you're behind. Proof that you're doing it wrong. Proof that you missed the memo everyone else got. But here's the thing. Not knowing doesn't mean you're failing. Not knowing is what it feels like to be alive while you're still becoming. Anyways, that's my take on it. It's what helps me in my pivot era. So here's the thing. Sometimes you pick the chocolate you think you're supposed to want. The impressive one. The one everyone else would choose. The good on paper option. The purple wrapper one. And you bite in, and it's just fine. Not terrible. But all of a sudden, just not you. And that moment can mess with you, because you think, why can't I be grateful? What's wrong with me? But maybe nothing is wrong. Maybe you're just learning your actual taste. Learning a new kind of longing. Confusing. You bet it is. And it's a total friggin' mind bleep, too. Maybe you're learning that this so-called right isn't the same as right for me. Too many rights, I know, I'll stop now. Back to it. And honestly, this is where pivots come from. Not from confidence, but from honesty. From realizing and understanding your own heartfelt want. Like, I don't want this chocolate again. And that's allowed. You don't have to force yourself to like something just because it looks good in the box. I love a framework. Here's one I use when life feels too unknown. The 3-bite rule. I hope you love it as much as I do. What I want to share is that not everything needs a full commitment. Sometimes you just need a bite. So, here goes. Bite 1, curiosity. Ask yourself, what am I drawn to even if I'm scared? Not what impresses people. Not what makes sense on LinkedIn. Just what quietly pulls you forward. Bite 2, data. Think about, how did that feel in my body? Did it make you feel a little more awake? Or did you feel tight, heavy, drained? It doesn't have to feel easy, but it shouldn't feel like abandoning yourself. Bite 3, kindness. Here you ask yourself, can I let this be a draft? Can this be an experiment, not a life sentence? Because your first try at anything doesn't have to be the final version of you. And I know, it's still scary, especially right now in a world where everything shifts so fast. Jobs evolve overnight. Industries rebrand. People talk about AI and creativity like it's either going to save us or replace us. And it can feel like the box keeps changing while you're still trying to choose. New options, new expectations, new ways to compare yourself. But life isn't asking you to predict the future. It's asking you to stay close to what's real, to move in small, honest steps, even when you don't have the full picture. Now, let's talk about the chocolates you don't like. The ones that taste wrong immediately. The job that drains you. The city that doesn't fit. The relationship that makes you feel smaller. We call these mistakes, but I want to reframe them out loud. Sometimes a mistake is just information. It's your nervous system saying, not this. It's your heart learning its own language. And you don't have to punish yourself for learning. You're not foolish for trying. You're brave for tasting. This is how I have changed things for me to help me manage change. So if you're in a pivot right now, if you're standing in that quiet, awkward place between who you were and who you're becoming, I want you to breathe for a second, not because everything is fine, but because you are allowed to be unfinished. You are allowed to be uncertain. You are allowed to make choices without having the perfect plan. Consider this. What chocolate or biscuit are you holding right now? What decision is sitting in your hands? Is it a career pivot you've been afraid to admit you want? A creative thing you keep, saving for later? A conversation you know you need to have? And what would the smallest possible bite look like? Not the leap, just the bite. Like the email drafted, the portfolio updated, the application sent, the 1-hour class, the first page written. Small enough that your fear doesn't get to run the whole show. Try it, it's helped me. Because clarity usually doesn't come first, it comes after movement. It comes after trying. It comes after living long enough to discover what you're actually made of. And sometimes, it comes after you taste the strawberry center and realize, oh, I didn't expect this, but I needed it. So yes, life really is like that. Sometimes it's too sticky, too sweet, sour, or savory, too unexpected. Sometimes it's exactly what you wanted. And sometimes it's a flavor you never want again. But none of it means you're broken. It means you're alive. It means you're learning. It means you're becoming. This is Pivot Era Podcast, a quiet place for people in transition. And if no one told you this today, let me be the one. You don't need certainty to begin. You just need the courage to taste. And remember, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's the fun of experiencing. This is an AI voice-powered podcast shared by humans who simply want to connect across generations and normalize the art of starting again. New episodes drop every Wednesday and Sunday. Share it with someone who's navigating their own pivot or who needs to hear that beginnings aren't failures. They're growth.